Sirius XM. It's time for Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve. Weird Medicine.
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus. I've got Ebola virus dripping from my nose. I've got the leprosy of the heartburn, exacerbating my intractable woes. I want to take my brain now and blast it with the wave, an ultrasonic, echographic, and a pulsating shave. I want a magic pill for all my ailments, the health equivalent of Citizen Kane. And if I don't get it now in a tablet, I think I'm doomed and I'll have to go insane. I want a requiem for my disease, so I'm paging Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve. Take the calpol. Do the vertebrae. I need some touching in the carotid. I bring the crash car and do the kung fu with the shot pack. Dr. Steve.
From the Sirius XM studios in Upper East Tennessee, the center of tranquility and consanguinity. That means inbreeding. It's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of radio. I'm Dr. Steve with my little pal, Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medical specialist. Hello, Scott.
Good evening.
And I have with me in the studio the lovely and talented GVAC.
What do you say, gang?
Whose Twitter is still RFGVAC. I'm waiting for it to change to WMGVAC. I mean, come on. When's the last time you were on Ron and Fez?
Oh, geez, since I lived up there.
All right. And that was a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So WMGVAC it is. Follow him on Twitter. Do you have a Twitter account?
I don't yet. I'm falling behind. I
Good.
feel kind of guilty.
No, you're smart.
Yeah.
Follow our show at Weird Medicine. You can also follow Double Vasectomy Turd, who is at a Flogging Molly concert tonight. At Todd 1017. PA John is Squirrel Cheese. And always follow the great Sherwin Sleeves and our friend Brian from the Radio Freaks, who is Wood Floor Liquor. So check us out on Twitter. This is a show for people who would never listen to a medical show on the radio. If you have a question that you're embarrassed to take to your regular medical provider, or if you just can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call at 347-766-4323. That's 347-POO-HEAD. And visit our website at weirdmedicine.com for podcasts, medical news, and stuff you can buy I can't mention contractually. Most importantly, we are not your medical providers. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking it over with your doctor, nurse practitioner, traditional Chinese medical specialist, acupuncturist, yoga master, or whatever. Very good. And GVAC was doing the Lotus Namaste pose.
Listen, whatever brings
very
peace and
nice.
tranquility.
I thought I heard something breaking to my left.
Have you guys heard about these kids in New York that started having this Tourette syndrome?
Yes.
It was a group of teenagers attending a single school in Leroy, New York, or is that Leroy, New York? I don't know. Do you know?
No, I don't. I've never heard of it.
So, okay. They developed strange movement disorder in rapid succession, and out of the blue, previously normal young people have had their lives devastated by uncontrollable tics and gesticulations and embarrassing verbal outbursts, and no one can find a medical explanation for this. Now, we are recording this on February 28th, so if somebody came out with the answer and found a definite answer between February 28th and the time that this airs, then we may be looking pretty fucking stupid.
We'll be idiots. That's all right, though.
But so far, they haven't found anything. The school did some environmental studies. They brought in an independent organization by the teacher, or the parents brought in an independent group. That Aaron Brockovich went in and looked, because apparently this was an area where there had been environmental damage from industrial pollution 20 years before, and they were looking to see if there was a connection there. Wow. Obviously, the parents are freaking out. Yep. But here's the thing. You have to break this thing down. What could cause something like this? Could it be something environmental? Could it be something infectious? Okay, those are and it certainly isn't something genetic, because these people are not related to each other.
Right.
Yeah,
so you look, is there something in the environment?
Right.
Is it an infectious agent or a toxic agent?
Right.
Is it Tourette syndrome?
Mm-hmm.
It can't be Tourette syndrome. Okay, it could be something like Tourette syndrome, but it's not Tourette syndrome because Tourette's is not contagious. Okay, disease epidemics are usually caused by infectious agents like viruses or bacteria. And if all the people afflicted with an illness live in the same environment, the other possibility is something in the environment, like we said, a toxic spill or something like that. And let's look at the infectious possibility first. Now, I'm taking some of this from CNN, by the way, just to give them credit for this, because I thought this was a really good analysis of what's going on. Even if you didn't know that all the blood tests in the area were normal, you could basically rule out an infectious cause for this, because all of the people who developed the disease or the ticks are female, and all but one are teenagers. There is no known infectious thing that affects only girls and affects only teenagers. There would be some infants, there would be some adults.
Immunocompromised people, older adults.
Who knows?
Yeah, something,
whatever.
Something different, yeah.
The other thing is, so then it can't be an infectious cause, at least not any that we understand.
Right.
Okay. The other thing is, it couldn't be. So then, is it an environmental explanation? Why would a poison in the environment almost exclusively target female teenagers? Once again, you would expect to see some boys, and you would expect to see some adults or infants that are affected by this. And how could it, if it had been in the environment for 20 years, how could it only now be affecting people?
Right.
And why all of a sudden all these people? So the only thing that we know that can do what this does, which is affect one person, then another person, then another person with neurologic effects that are unexplainable otherwise, is a thing called a conversion disorder. And that is the development of a neurological symptom such as tics, for which no neurologic abnormality can be found. And usually a simple neurologic exam will confirm that it doesn't come from any kind of brain or nerve damage. And yet, the patients with conversion disorder don't have any conscious knowledge that there's no underlying cause for it. In other words, they truly feel these symptoms. Okay.
Is it psychosomatic?
Well, it depends on your definition of that. Are they faking? No. Is it purely a result of a neurologic effect in the central nervous system? In other words, the thinking part of the brain? It probably is. And I had a kid once with a conversion disorder who couldn't walk. Okay, she just all of a sudden lost the ability to walk, and her mother was obviously very concerned about her. Brought her into the hospital. The mom slept in the same bed with her. She was very overbearing. And as a concerned mother naturally might be,
right?
I'm not criticizing the mom at all.
Right.
And she had a daughter who all of a sudden developed this neurologic problem. And one of the techniques that we used was to go in and tell the girl that sometimes people just get better. Sometimes people just get better for no reason, and they just walk out of here. And, within a week of telling her that, if we made the diagnosis of conversion disorder, she got better. Now, if we had gone in there and said, you're faking, this is a hysterical thing, or called it mass hysteria, which is another term for this, when it affects groups of people, what would she have done? She would have made damn sure that she never walked again.
Exactly.
As long as people were saying that. But as soon as we gave her the out, her brain was able to adjust itself, and she was able to walk out of there. They'll do things on certain people, like they'll do truth serum, which is bullshit. Okay, but they'll give them an injection, say sometimes this will make it better, and that strong placebo effect will allow them to get better. But as long as the media is telling these girls that they have a mental disorder, they're not going to get better. So they have to basically approach it like this is something we don't understand, but sometimes these things get better, or we can try a sedative, or something like that, that maybe this will work and give their brain an out so that they can get better on their own.
That's really odd.
And conversion disorder is known to spread from person to person, too. Have you ever heard of these cases where they drew blood on someone in an emergency room and there was a weird odor to it, and then all of a sudden everyone in the emergency room fainted? Have you ever heard of those stories? It was out there in the medical literature for a while. And ER doctors were kind of concerned about this. It's like, is this some new drug that's somehow outgassing and causing, everyone in the emergency room to faint? But they finally figured out it was mass hysteria, which is also another term for a conversion disorder. Or one person has an anxiety attack, and then the next person, boom, 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 it's like dominoes, and they all fall out. And it takes a certain set of conditions where people have to be vulnerable to that high-stress environment, so stuff like that, where this can happen.
And I think what you said before, it makes a big difference when there's a lot of support from either parents or media that are making them feel worse. It's adding to the hysteria. And I wish PA John were here, because we have a case we could probably.
Well, you can't talk about any active cases,
that's
obviously,
true.
because of HIPAA. But you can say that you heard about something.
We did hear, but it's really a difficult thing to treat.
Yeah, and when no one likes the diagnosis of conversion disorder because it makes you think, well, it's all in your head.
Right.
Well,
right.
Yeah, but that's not what we're saying. We're not, because people will take that as a pejorative. It is a true disorder, and these people for the most part, have no knowledge that
their brain is making
them do it.
Wow. Wow.
We deal with that every day. To some form, you and I doing varying degrees of pain.
All medicine is psychosomatic.
There's a lot of it.
And not to get too metaphysical or anything like that, but the fact that it could spread from one person to another, that people can be so sympathetic to another person and mimic the same symptoms unknowingly. Is there some kind of thing with connectivity with people?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's the same thing like if you put, I think, females in the same
That's
dorm
exactly
rooms.
what I was going to say. And they would menstruate at the same time.
Absolutely.
There is some kind of connectivity thing.
There is. And I think, Steve, one thing I think about it, you go down even to the cellular level, when you talk about cardiac cells, you can take two independent cardiac cells and put them together, and they'll start to beat at the same rate. In a petri dish, because there is that.
No, that's how the heart works.
It is, but
signaling between.
It is, but I think that's part of what these poor girls have, is they're picking up on this kind of weird vibe, whatever. I mean,
that's
maybe,
incredibly.
Maybe they need somebody else that's got some extra sensory powers to come in. Maybe it's an X-file.
We need to introduce you to the audience too. This is Dr. Scotty. He went to traditional Chinese medical school. Yes. He is not one of these guys that took a 2-week course in acupuncture, and he approaches problems a little bit differently than we do.
Yes.
Can you look and see if that last tweet? We're going to take some live calls tonight, and I'm not sure that my last tweet went out. Can you see that it says we're taking live calls now? Anyway, just look and see.
I'm checking. How long ago did you send it? Do you know what time you sent it?
Just a couple of seconds ago. I don't think it went through.
I don't see it.
God bless. Yeah, I hate. You know what?
Technology.
No, I love technology.
I love it too.
I hate these Twitter clients, though, that don't work. You see, the service provider cannot be reached. So I copy and paste this. Everyone's thrilled with this, by the way, this part of our conversation tonight. And now I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it to the Twitter client for LG, because I have an LG Revolution. And now I'm going to try to paste it in here and watch what happens. Absolutely nothing.
I was begging for a phone call. Come on, guys.
I know. Well, I told everybody don't call.
Yeah, because
now do you see it now?
I'm retweeting myself so it gets out there at least again. But now I'm going to check yours.
How many followers do you have?
No, nowhere near as many as yours.
God. All right. Well,
you're the fancy man here. We all know that.
He is. He's the head honcho.
How many do you have?
I have about 13,000, which is weird.
Wow.
I have more followers than Clay Aiken. Which what happened to him?
God, wheels came off.
he should have millions of followers.
He should. I think poor management.
I guess I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Poor old Clay. He's a
talented guy.
He just started tweeting recently, so I'm sure he'll outclips me. But I just wondered what world.
I don't even know how many followers I have.
And I have right around the same. If you use Twitter followers as your level of fame, I'm about the same amount of famous as Jennifer Hutt.
Wow.
So, what you're impressed by that? I mean, I love Jennifer, and I've expressed my love for her on this show.
Oh, yeah.
But she isn't that famous. Good girl, though. All right.
Number one thing, don't take advice from some asshole on the radio.
All right, well, let's take some calls.
Dr. Steve, this is Wesley Hester. I'm a 38-year-old retired veterinarian. What happened to me initially, I blew out L4, L5 picking up a dog, and I've kind of got a cast.
Okay, what he's talking about is his lumbar vertebrae. Those are the vertebrae between the rib cage and your ass, basically. Okay, so he blew out L4, L5. There's 5 of them in most people, and so those are the lower 2 lumbar vertebrae in the low back. So,
Cascade effect of the lumbar vertebra and also thoracic vertebra collapsing now.
Okay, the thoracic vertebrae are the vertebrae of the rib cage. Okay, so from the neck to the low back, all of the vertebrae that are attached to ribs are thoracic vertebrae. So,
I've had numerous surgeries, discectomies. I've got a spinal cord stimulator in right now. Not really getting any relief. I'm taking fentanyl, oxycodone, hydrocodone. I mean, you name it, and I don't get any relief from the radiating leg pain or the back pain. And was wondering if you have any suggestions, if you need more details, or if this is something you'd like to talk about.
Okay, well, and then he gives his phone number. So I'll cut him off right there. Low back pain is a problem, and he's had what sounds like fractures back there. And he's seen. I emailed him, and we talked back and forth a little bit. He's seen neurosurgeons, and they didn't have anything to offer him. For compressed vertebrae, they can do this thing where if you have, the vertebral bodies are like balsa wood, and when you step on one, you can crunch them. And it's called a fracture, but it's really just a compression where you're decreasing the height, and it hurts like hell. It's some of the worst pain you can possibly imagine. And when that happens, one of the things that they can do is they can stick a needle in there. Neurosurgeons will do this. And try to re-expand it again with epoxy. And when that happens, that will improve your pain. The other thing I was thinking of for him is he's tried everything else. Hell, why not try acupuncture?
Try me, yeah, absolutely. We see this every single day.
I mean, when Western medicine fails, I have no problem sending somebody to a traditional Chinese practitioner to let them give it a try, because we've tried every fucking thing else. This guy's been on fentanyl, which is a very potent narcotic. He's on Lortab. I think everybody should, if you're going to be on long-acting and short-acting medicine, one long-acting medicine, one short-acting medicine. There's no need for him to be on Percocet and Lortab and Darvocet or whatever he's on. But that's a minor detail. The fact is that he's living in pain and not getting any relief from this stuff. And when Western medicine fails, hell, that's why I brought Scott into my practice when I was in closer to Middle Tennessee. Scott would come once a week, and he would see the people that I had completely failed. Well, and they got better.
Yeah, I don't think failed's
that Western medicine had failed.
They just weren't responding to traditional Western medical therapies. But I see people like with these problems all the time, and certainly radicular pains are really, really difficult. And acupuncture can help. I do traditional Chinese medicine, and I do the acupuncture with TENS units. And I see these cases every day, all day long, and the best thing I can do is try to calm down the nerve pain with some old Chinese medicines and some acupuncture and try to restore some range of motion. So
I think it's worth a try.
It's absolutely worth a try.
The other thing that he probably needs is a TLSO brace. You know, it's you can go to any place that makes braces. They're usually and insurance will pay for these, and get a brace that will support your back. And it's a big kind of plastic metal or plastic shell. And for people who don't respond to anything else, very often they will respond to that. So I would, you know,
just have to decompress those nerve roots, and that's the hard thing. And did he say if he's a big guy or?
No, I didn't say.
Yeah.
He's listening to this show.
Tough case.
If he's listening to
or he can email
XM
me,
105, he's probably a big guy. So.
I'll say if he could email.
Well, let him email me and I'll forward it to you.
Yeah.
My
Maybe
email
I
is
so I can help him out.
weirdmedicinexm@gmail.com, and we could look for a traditional Chinese
somebody. You need
practitioner
somebody
in his area.
that does Oriental medicine, that is board certified, nationally board certified.
Right. You don't want someone who took a 2-week course in acupuncture. You want somebody who actually does this for a living. Anyway, we've got a call, 905 area code. You're on the air. What, now he doesn't talk?
Oh, man.
Are you there? Did he hang up? Okay, fine. Oh, you there?
You
Dude.
I'm here.
Okay, you're on the air.
Hey, I was wondering, since grade 7, I've been plucking my eyelashes and rubbing against my my cheeks and my mouth. What's wrong with me?
Okay, what are you doing with your eyelashes?
Plucking them out.
Oh, plucking them. Okay. This is I used to do that too, and I plucked all my eyelashes out, and it was because I had allergies, and they were, they irritated me, so I started messing with my eyelashes and plucked them all out. There is a thing where people will pluck their hair out and eat it sometime, and it's called trichotillomania. And some of these people who eat their hairs will end up getting a thing in their stomach called a bezoar, because you can't digest hair, so it makes a hairball. You know, a human hairball, and it'll get stuck in there, and you can't digest your food, and it can cause a bowel obstruction, all kinds of crazy shit. So eyelashes probably won't do that; they'll pass through. But if it's a compulsive thing that you're doing, then seeing your doctor and letting them put you on medication for compulsions may do the trick. If you don't feel like this is something that deserves to take a medicine that will go to every cell in your body, just to make you stop doing this, then, that's okay. You just may have to live with it. What do you think about hypnosis or something like that?
That's what I was going to say. I would try to figure out if there's some correlation between stress. Is it with stress or anxiety when you're picking it, or is it some tactile thing? I think that that's a.
Say that again.
I'm sorry.
I've never eaten them.
Okay. Is it? Are you? Do you
I thought you said you were putting them in your mouth. Sorry.
Okay.
He likes to rub them against his cheek.
Oh, rub them against your cheek. Yeah.
So it is a tactile thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a sensory thing.
It's probably left over from when you were a kid.
When you were a child, I was going to say some sort of Freudian thing, like some sort of it's not an oral fixation certainly, but some kind of something left over from childhood. Is it worse when you're stressed?
I do it whenever.
So
I'm 41 now.
So all day, every day, pretty much.
Yeah.
Until you run out of eyelashes, and then they grow back.
Yeah.
Stress.
One of the things that people will do, if you have a couple options, you could go to a hypnotist. You could try that or you could go to a cognitive therapist, which is a PhD psychologist, and they deal with changing behaviors. And what they'll do is try to get to the root of what's causing this, and then try to change the behavior. You just got to decide whether you want to spend the money to stop pulling out your eyelashes. It's not something that's going to kill you. It's not something that's going to do you a whole lot of harm, although the eyelashes do prevent, to a certain extent, small foreign bodies from getting into the eye. But other than that, you just got to decide if you want to change it. And if you do, then those are the things to do.
Yeah. Then find something else to rub on your cheek, like some other sort of hair.
Yeah, very good. Not a real great answer, but if you look in the book under PhD psychologists, look for a cognitive therapist in your area. And if you want me to find one for you, give me an email at weirdmedicinexm@gmail.com, and I'll try to see if I can find somebody in your area.
Okay, thanks. Cool.
Okay, cool, man. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right. And if you want to leave a voicemail tonight, you can. We are not live. It sounds like we are. Give us a call at 347-POOHEAD or 347-766-4323, and we'll answer your call. And Dr. Scott's screening our calls and looking for them. And
Look for good calls.
Yep.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
I think I answered this one before. Let's see. Oh, this is a Dr. Scott follow-up.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I was just listening to the show and heard the Chinese medicine guy said something about taking mustard for heartburn, and I remember in the past, there's a thing with people talking about taking vinegar for the same thing, which is the main ingredient in mustard.
Right.
He mentioned the turmeric, but I just wonder if you think there might be a little connection there, because there you go.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think so, absolutely. And I think the yellow mustard is a little more palatable, but certainly just a plain white vinegar is something you can take a shot of to neutralize the acid.
How in the hell does acid neutralize acid?
I don't know. It just calms the stomach down. It's bizarre, but I swear it does.
Okay.
I told you my New York City guys in Manhattan. And I've been there for a couple days.
We have this cadre of listeners, and there's Dominic, the vinegar guy, and he emails me, "Have you tried that vinegar yet, Doc?"
Yeah.
And he is convinced, and he's not the only one, that taking vinegar for reflux, which is a problem with acid getting into the esophagus, is something that's beneficial, and he swears by it, and he's not the only one. I have every time we bring this up, I get people emailing me. Now, every time I'm in the grocery store, I promise I'm going to buy some apple cider vinegar, and I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And either there's a psychological thing that I don't want to be wrong, or I'm just, getting the Alzheimer's and forget that I just haven't done it yet. So I'm going to do it.
Selective.
Are you saying you're stubborn and egotistical, Doc?
Yeah, it could be that. I have chronic GI problems. I have chronic abdominal pain. I was convinced that I had pancreatic cancer there for a while. I would love if that's all I had to do was take some apple cider
shot of mustard,
or a shot of mustard.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I was in Manhattan. I've been there for days. Ate too much, drank too much, didn't sleep enough, and was having some pretty bad reflux. Stopped at a street vendor, 2 squirts of mustard.
Done.
Pain's gone.
Yep.
Gone. There was nothing to it.
See?
It's that easy, I swear.
And if you remember correctly, Doc, I brought this up months ago. I was the one that asked you the question.
Which question?
Many, this maybe a year ago even. I said, I have read several times that the best cure for excess acid is vinegar.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's insane.
Right.
Vinegar
And then
is
we started
acid.
getting calls
And then
about
we
it.
started getting calls like crazy. But I had always heard that.
Yeah.
I had heard it balances the pH in the body, etc.
Well, it's great. And Steve will laugh when I say this, but it's great for thickening toenails.
Really?
You put a drop for thickening toenails. Just one drop. Massage it in. Absolutely.
And it makes them thicker?
No, it thins them out.
It thins them out.
When they're getting too thick.
Okay.
Absolutely. Or if you can, then maybe you can hire someone to lick it off or chew it off or something. Anyway.
Now you're just being
whatever your crazy fetish is.
But truly, I
just
can
white
say
vinegar, straight
plain white vinegar. Yeah, just one drop on the thickening toenail. Because we see that
for nail fungus.
Nail fungus.
I could imagine that changing the pH of the toenail would affect how the fungus can grow. And I've never seen a study that shows that putting vinegar in. I've seen people try Vicks Vapo Rub, and I've seen people try oil of oregano. I think.
Oregano's great.
For toenail fungus. But, hell, I finally broke down and took the Lamisil tablets. I went to a podiatrist, had to have one of my toenails removed because it got so thick. It was disgusting.
Right.
And I took the Lamisil tablets, and, I'm fine. And I didn't have liver failure, which was you don't want to end up dying from fulminant liver failure because you didn't like the way your toenails looked.
No.
And so I've always avoided that, and I would tell people, they would come in wanting the pill for their toenails, and I'd say, I'll give it to you, but here's the thing.
Here's the factor.
There is a very small but not zero chance that you could die of fulminant liver failure from this medication, and it costs about $400 if you don't have insurance that pays for it.
Or you can go next door and see my buddy Scott.
Yeah, or you could go see my buddy Scott, and
he'll try something,
and he'll teach you how to learn to live with your big thick toenails, because what he does doesn't work.
Exactly. Stick a needle.
I don't give in so easy.
Sticking the needle in her toe.
My mom was diagnosed with terminal heart disease and told she had a couple of months to live, and we took her to a Chinese doctor in Nashville, and he got her, or prescribed her, it looked like mushrooms in little brown paper bags, a month's supply, in a teapot to boil these mushrooms down and drink them. And she was on Coumadin and all kinds of drugs.
Do you know what he's talking about?
Absolutely.
You do? Okay. Well, hold that thought.
High blood pressure and blood thinning. But to make a long story short, they told her that she had a couple of months to live 2 years ago. And I am a total believer in Chinese medicine. I heard your show tonight, and I'm just very thankful for that, even though you are a hillbilly shit dick. Thank you.
I thought I hid my accent pretty well.
I think he was talking about me.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought my accent. I was hiding my accent.
You can't hide that accent.
That's terrible, isn't it?
When we hear each other talk, we don't hear anything.
No, I think you have that.
Everybody
no
out
accent
there,
at all.
everybody out there hears it. And when I was in Vermont, by the way, because I don't think I have an accent. And matter of fact, I went to school to lose my accent. When I was in broadcasting school, I completely lost my accent because I used to talk like this, and I've lost most of it.
Right.
But when I was in Vermont, people were like, "Oh, well, you're obviously Southern." And I would call the hardware store. I remember this so well. It still pisses me off. I remember every detail about it. I called up and said, "Now, do y'all have these things I was looking for, whatever it was?" And I just remember the woman go, "No, we all don't have that." I was like, "Oh, all right.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to Lowe's in the next town."
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
So anyway, what's this guy talking about? What's this bag of mushrooms?
Well, I don't know exactly which mushrooms he was talking about, but the way we were formally trained.
And it probably wasn't really mushrooms, right? I mean,
probably not.
It just looked like it because they were brown, dried up crap that you guys...
It could be anything. The way I was formally trained, we actually had an entire pharmacy full of frozen snakes, starfish, dried deer antler, the works. And we used, and this is a true story, and flying squirrel feces. And this is the truth.
Wow.
I swear to God, one time I made a lady a formula that had dried squirrel feces in it. Flying squirrel feces in it.
Wow.
She comes back, goes for a GI distress. She comes back, she goes, "That stuff tasted like shit." That's a true story.
That's hilarious.
And I said, "Well, ma'am, I'm sorry, but how's your stomach?" She goes, "Oh God, my stomach's felt great." I said, "Well, good. You don't have to take this shit anymore."
Oh God.
But no, there's a reason why Chinese medicine is at least 3,000, not 5,000 years
sure.
old. And the problem we have a lot of times is compliance, just like you do, Steve. I mean, and making someone a pot full of herbs for them to make every day and to drink every day is really tough. I use those.
That's part of the process. It makes the patient part of the process.
They have to become part of the process. You can't just go. Not all the time. You can't just go and get one pill that does it. It just doesn't work that way. So absolutely, and I think that's wonderful that his mother's doing well. And I see cases like that all the time. I'll get cases that Western medicine considers are untreatable, or they're considered medically normal, and they'll come to me, and I'm thankful enough to have wonderful friends like Dr. Steve and some other people that trust me to work with them, and I'll tell you, if I have a question, I call him, and the Eastern and Western medicines can work in a great symbiotic fashion together if you trust the people that you're working with. So,
all right.
Yeah, so way to go, man.
Enough
Congrats. Yeah. Call me.
Hey, Dr. Steve. I was just wondering, I'm with this girl, and she likes double penetration. Is there any medical concerns we should have? Thanks a lot. Bye.
The hell is he talking?
Was that wood floor liquor?
No.
It sounded a lot like
it. It did sound like him, didn't it? Wait a minute. It's not, though, because I texted this guy back.
Hey, Dr. Steve. I was just
Geez, that does sound like him.
Doesn't it?
Check out Wood Floor Liquor at theradiofreaks.tv. He has, they're usually live on Wednesday nights, but they've got archives that go back.
Right.
His specialty is comics and porn stars. It's a show with nothing but comedians and porn stars.
And he gets top names.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
He's had Gilbert Gottfried on his show. He's had Carlos Mencia on his show. The great Bob Kelly, Rich Voss, and Bonnie. I mean, it's just unbelievable the people that he gets on that stupid show of his, and they don't realize that there's 8 people in the chat room. But I think they do a lot of their business on people who are streaming it after the fact, not listening to it live. But it's a great show, but it does sound just like him.
It does, right?
I'm with this girl, and she likes double penetration.
It really does, so that's funny. And he's huffing and puffing like Wood Floor Liquor, too. He's a big fatso. So, anyway, I'm assuming when he says double penetration that he's talking about 2 penises, 2 different guys. And I don't know if he's talking about rotisserie, which would be penis in the mouth, penis in the vagina or rectum, or double penetration, which would be a penis in the vagina and one in the rectum.
But he ended it saying, is there any medical concern? So I thought he was saying, can he do her anally and then vaginally? That's what I don't know.
I wouldn't do it that way. I'd do it.
I don't know.
For hygiene purposes, I'd do it the other way.
Because he said, is there medical?
Yeah, Dr. Scott's not a big fan
Not a big fan.
of the chili dog.
No. What do they call it? The Hershey Highway? Is that what they call it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, my word.
But anyway,
Tough question.
I texted this guy back and I said, are you meaning 2 different people? And he said, yes.
Oh, good.
Oh, really?
So, but how would you, I mean, just logistically, could you penetrate somebody anally and vaginally at the same time? And how in the hell would you do it? I guess you'd have one person she'd have to be on her side, and one person on her back, and one in front of her.
Either way, the guys are slapping balls, and I don't want no part of that.
That's got to be
deal.
Yeah, I can't deal with that. And they're touching arms when you reach across her. They're touching each other and stuff.
That's not cool. That ain't my scene.
Where's PA John when we need him?
I know he would know.
He would know this.
He would know this. You know who would know it is double vasectomy turd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a creep.
Yeah.
So.
We need. Yeah. Can we punt this next week?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. The biggest thing is fecal oral transmission of disease. So if they're getting down there and putting a penis in the anus and then licking it or moving it to the vagina or something like that, there's transmission of bacteria from the one area to the other area, and some of those can be. We
see chronic urinary tract infections from stuff like that.
Sure, if you have hepatitis A, that can be transmitted that way. So in the fecal oral fashion, there's just a lot of bacteria. Stool is mostly made up of bacteria.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful, but studies have shown that anal sex does not cause fecal incontinence. It does decrease the amount of tone, in other words, the strength that the rectum can use to hold stool in, but it doesn't decrease it to the point where people generally become incontinent. And they did this in a study in men who were having frequent anal intercourse. So, you want to use a lot of lube. You need to make sure that the person is ready for it, and so that you're not tearing anything or displacing anything when you shove your penis where it isn't designed to go. And, some people enjoy that. I've always reassured every girlfriend I've ever had that I will never ask you for anal intercourse ever as long as we live. And, that's actually, there have been a few people who have been disappointed, and I think it was
exes. They're called exes.
Right. They're called ex-girlfriends.
Yes, that's one of the reasons why they're exes.
Most of my girlfriends have appreciated that. I've never really been with anybody that was like begging for me to shove my whatever it is.
If I could tell you a story that this guy told me in clinic the other day.
You can, as long as it doesn't violate HIPAA. You can tell any story you want.
Word. He was talking about having sex with his estranged wife, Who evidently has been.
Can you? I don't know if that you can tell.
No,
this
I
story.
better not.
You better not.
No,
Okay.
I'd rather not. Oh, it's terrible.
The audience is all
painful.
smacking their TVs.
They are. They're like,
the
quick,
TVs.
hide the kids.
Okay, here's the thing. We're drinking, and I just said they're going to smack their TVs. We are not on television. We're on Sirius XM satellite
So
radio.
we can.
And what are you drinking tonight? By the way?
We were drinking the Rogue chocolate stout.
Still drinking the Rogue
again
chocolate
tonight.
stout.
Yes, it's hard to get away from. It's just.
GVAC's drinking water.
As always.
Well, we're not allowed to eat on this show, so we might as well drink, right?
I am.
And I have an hour and a half drive home from here.
I'm drinking Michelob
that makes sense.
Ultra that I take a Clementine. Here's the thing. I've gotten to where I can't drink the high gravity beers anymore. If I do, I love them.
Yeah.
Stone IPA still my favorite all-time beer, and I will.
It's a great beer.
And Arrogant Bastard Oaked. The 6-packs of that are not very expensive, and it is intensely great beer.
Yeah, got some meat on it.
And but what I found is if I drink a lot of it, I end up suffering for days and days and days afterward. I don't know if it's residual yeast in some of these yeasty beers or what's going on.
Even on the hoppy, I can't drink hoppy beers. I
can drink all the hops.
I can't do.
Make it hoppy better.
Yeah.
And by the way, go to Brews and Ales. It's at Brews and Ales, and it's a pun, BRUISIN Ales, on Twitter. Greatest beer store
ever
in the country.
Yeah.
It's in Asheville, North Carolina.
It's beautiful.
And they ship. So just search for brewsandales.com. They're not a sponsor of the show. I wish they were.
Yet.
So they are awesome.
We're looking for Rogue, too.
917 area code. You're on Weird Medicine.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Hey, man, what's going on?
It's Mafia Life Chris.
Oh, shit.
Holy Christ, what's up,
Oh,
Chris?
fuck, what did we do wrong?
No, nothing. Listen, I got a tweet saying to call in live.
Yeah.
And I was excited. And I said, do I have any health questions for Dr. Steve? And it dawned on me because my wife just finished telling me on a text message to stop drinking the Red Bull. I've got the sanitation job, and I drive to New Jersey a couple hours to dump the sanitation trucks. And on the drive, I drink Red Bull. And lately, I've been escalating from like a 12-ounce to a 16-ounce. Now I'm drinking 2 20-ounces, by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Am I going to be okay?
Well, here's the thing. There is such a thing called caffeineism. And what Red Bulls have in them is taurine, and which is an amino acid, and they've got caffeine in them and then some sugar. Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe they have some B vitamins. Hell, I don't know.
Probably some ginseng, something.
No,
like
they don't. I don't think they have ginseng in them. But they. Hey, Chris.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just a lot of noise in there. If it keeps up, I'll have to cut you off, and then I'll send this to you. But it's calmed down now. You can get a thing called caffeineism, which is caffeine overdose, and basically what you end up with is a fast heart rate. You can get nausea, you can get vomiting. There is you can die from too much caffeine, but you have to take 80 to 100 cups of coffee in a day to get a caffeine overdose that would kill you. It's very difficult to do. Although with caffeine tablets, it's been done because that will sort of override that mechanism where you just can't drink so much coffee. I don't know.
Is taurine the same?
No, taurine is an amino acid, and it's rapidly metabolized, and that's why they feel like that gives you energy. It's just another pathway that the body can use to make energy, but it's the caffeine that makes you jazzed up. And if you find
my wife, she's full, I'm going to be all right.
No, I'm not. Now, your wife, I'm not ever going to say that she's full of shit because I'm as scared of her as I'm scared of you. So what I'm going to say is that just be careful if you find that when you don't take it, you start getting headaches and withdrawal symptoms. You're probably getting too much caffeine. You need to cut back on it because you do.
Don't get me wrong. I do feel like like pepped up.
Oh yeah.
Like I did, like it was high school and I did a little bump.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I've used that 5-hour energy when I'm really fatigued, and it does work, but it is a false kind of energy. There's no question about it. It's not real energy. We got Dr. Scott here, and he's a traditional Chinese medical specialist. What do you guys do for fatigue?
We have some great old Chinese formulas that work. And if you could find some, I don't know where you're located, but I'm sure you could find somebody that practices a traditional Chinese medicine, puts you on some safe herbal medicines and formulas that'll really boost your energy up. It's what I take.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be driving all night long, I'll take those as opposed to caffeine.
Well, what's it got in it though? It probably just has caffeine in it, right?
No. It's some of it's astragalus, it's Wang Qi, a little bit of ginseng, but there's the thing that a lot of folks don't understand is that with Chinese medicines and formulas, we work on a bunch of different pathways, but you don't use caffeine, so you get the energy boost without the jitters and without any residual kind of hangovers. I use it a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, but there are some other avenues out there. Just remember moderation.
And the thing I would avoid, Chris, definitely is drinking alcohol with Red Bull.
Absolutely.
Because the caffeine keeps you awake, and you end up drinking more than you would have. That's why they banned those caffeine-containing alcohol drinks, because people were just getting way too wasted on them. All right, dude.
No problem. I'll do that. I can't drink and work for the New York City anyway. So
Yeah.
I just need to drive.
Okay.
Where else would I be from anyway? Brooklyn.
I know. Really.
There's some great Chinese doctors up there, man. There's some great Chinese doctors.
I don't know where you're from. Listen to him.
We can't even mimic that. I can even act like I sound like I'm from New York.
All right, buddy. Hey, thanks for calling, Chris. See you, man.
Love you guys.
All right, we'll see you, man.
So I just Googled the ingredients for Red Bull, and it looks like it's taurine and a bunch of different types of sugars.
Okay.
That really
it does
looks
have
like
caffeine, though, too, right?
Glucose, sucrose, glucuronolactone. I don't even know what the hell all that is, but it all sound like sugars.
Those are all sugars or sugar analogs that are rapidly metabolized by the body. Sucrose, which is table sugar, is glucose plus fructose. Okay, it's 50-50 glucose and fructose. And fructose is a sugar that's found in fruit. The problem with table sugar is that if you eat a piece of fruit, you might get 17% fructose. When you eat table sugar, you're getting 50% fructose. And fructose may be toxic to the human body. The more research I see, the less that I'm liking fructose, and anything with high fructose corn syrup in, I will not let my kids drink.
No way.
Because it increases your amount of insulin in your body. It increases your resistance to insulin, and therefore can lead to diabetes and obesity and all kinds of stuff. So I am not a fan of fructose. So that doesn't sound like it has fructose, and it's got glucose in it, which is easily metabolized by the body. How much caffeine's it got?
You know, it doesn't say exactly. It just has a list of the ingredients, but it doesn't say.
The caffeine is one of them, though, right?
Caffeine, taurine, glucu, whatever that is. B group vitamins, sucrose, glucose, and alpine spring water.
Oh, nice. See?
Well,
God forbid it should be some other spring water.
Dr. Steve, have a simple question that relates to today's show. I've got hepatitis B and C. I've had it for years and years and years. Don't have any symptoms to speak of. I like a drink every now and then. I'm not a drunk, but I do like a Long Island iced tea. Let's say once a week. How dangerous is that? Thanks.
Okay, buddy. Here's the thing. I totally understand where he's coming from. You like to have a drink every once in a while, but he's got hepatitis B, chronic, and hepatitis C. These are both viruses that attack liver tissue and ultimately can cause severe damage to the liver, although there are people who run around with hepatitis C without a whole lot of damage being done to them over time. They may have some fatigue or they may not have any symptoms at all. Here's the issue with alcohol and hepatitis C, that drinking increases the activity of a protein called nuclear factor kappa B. Okay? And what nuclear factor kappa B does is it increases the production of hepatitis C virus particles. So what you do not want to do is increase your hepatitis C viral load.
Right.
You want to decrease it.
How is it possible he's had this for years and years, as he said, with no symptoms?
Well, it's possible.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know if he's had treatment. They'll use interferon and stuff to boost your immune system to knock it out. And there are people that walk around with hepatitis C, and I've known people that had it. The guy had sex with his wife 3 times a week, never gave it to his wife. You know, and so hepatitis C is one of those things. And you know, we talked about host factors on the last show. There are some people that can live with it, and some people who can't, and they end up getting cirrhosis and dying of liver failure. I wouldn't push my luck on that. I would recommend not drinking at all. That's what most hepatologists would recommend. But all I know is he has hepatitis C. I don't know anything about his medical condition. He needs to talk to a hepatologist, which would be a GI doctor who specializes in diseases of the liver, and somebody who knows him, knows his case, and talk to them about it. And I'm pretty sure they're going to tell him the same thing.
Yeah,
because I've got a couple with Hep C, chronic Hep C. You know, we treat them with some traditional Chinese medicines, but you know, we discourage alcohol. Yeah, we just, you know, we just pouring the gas on the flame.
Yeah, and it's like taking testosterone with prostate cancer.
Yeah.
It's like throwing kerosene on a fire.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Find something else to do.
All right, cool. Well, and thank you all for coming in. I really appreciate it. Thanks always go to Dr. Scott, who's filling in for P.A. John tonight. Thanks to the lovely and talented G-Vac.
My pleasure.
Double vasectomy turd was supposed to call in. And fuck him and his flogging Molly concert. Eat shit. Yeah. You can't forget Eric Nagel, Opie and Anthony, Ron and Fez, whose steadfast support of this show never goes unappreciated. Many thanks to our listeners who called in tonight and helped move the show along. Until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps. Quit smoking and get off your asses and get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine.
Comfortably Weird Medicine. This has been Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve. Weird Medicine. Got questions for him? Visit him at drsteve.com or call 347-766-4323. That's 347-POO-HEAD. Our real phone number, chosen by a grown man in the medical profession. Sirius XM.